All right, Chris, let's dive right into tonight's podcast. Let's start right here. Big news. Week 2 of spring practice is in the books, Chris. And boy, oh boy, the news has come out this week. A lot of really big news. And the scrimmage they had yesterday had a ton of big news. Why don't you start first? Let the listeners know and watchers, as well as myself, of one of the headlines from the last week of practice and the scrimmage yesterday that jumped out to you, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you what jumps out to me, Eric, is that I owe you a box of cookies, my friend. Because it wasn't my man Noah Brown getting his stripe off there as the first freshman. It was Carnell Tate, who just, had a tremendous, tremendous effort in that scrimmage the other day. I mean, he really seems to be stepping up and stepping in there and really, really thriving with, a couple of our key guys down right now. He and Jaden Ballard just doing a great job of taking advantage of the reps they're getting.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know what? He's probably on the two deep in the wide receiver room
Yes,
already as a
right
freshman.
now.
There's someone on the two deep who is inching his way to possibly taking that third spot, and that person is one Jaden Ballard.
Yes.
There is a ton of buzz around him. Now, two things. Number one, Emeka Egbuka and Julian Fleming both are not participating in spring drills and practice right now. They are rehabbing
Correct.
injuries and minor surgeries that they had at the end of the 2022 season. So that opens the door for someone like Jaden Ballard, who has the experience because he knows the offense. He's been at Ohio State now. This is his third year. And so he's been developing, he's been getting stronger, better, and he's taking advantage of this. The other thing is you have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's on a pitch count. That
Yep.
he's had a ton of reps. In the scrimmage on Saturday, they're like, when it came to tackling, they said, "You're out. Not even going
Yep.
to risk it. You're too valuable of to us in this offense. Get out of here." And Jaden Ballard absolutely went to school. And there was a 50-yard bomb
Yes.
from Kyle McCord to Jaden Ballard where he made a double move, and poor Jordan Hancock is still probably twisted up like a pretzel out there in the Woody Hayes field. Jaden Ballard was wide open, again, wide open.
Yeah.
Defense, come
Yeah.
on. 50-yard bomb, boom, touchdown. His speed is going to be a problem for people.
Yep.
His ability to track the ball is really, really good. And here's the thing, if you're going to try to double team Harrison and you're going to try to concentrate on Agbuka, this guy is going to go over the top. And as long as Kyle's got time to hit him, he is going to score on you. This is going to be a big problem for defenses, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And I'll tell you, Eric, we were talking about it a little bit before we went on the air here, and I'll tell you, he is just amazing. He is going to make it very hard to keep him off the field. I'll tell you, another guy who's making it a little hard to stay off the field right now is one Sonny Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Styles was looking awfully good that Saturday scrimmage. What did he have? 3 pass breakups. Had a tremendous play where he had gotten beaten and had the recovery speed to get back and actually break up the pass and have an incompletion on that. So I'm telling you what, I think this kid's another one. Right now as it goes, I believe Josh Proctor was ahead of him on the two deep, but I'll tell you, watch out because I could see Sonny Styles sneaking in there.
Yeah, I can as well. Donald says, sounds like Devin Smith mold. Actually, Donald, we were talking about that
Yep.
before we were recording. That's who we compared him to, was Devin Smith. I think this might be the most Devin Smith like receiver we've had since him.
Yeah.
And Chris, you said, what was it that you said? Even,
Even Cardale couldn't overthrow this guy.
right. Yeah. So
Cardale had a cannon.
yeah, so this is a really good problem to have
Yes.
when you're breaking in a new quarterback. If someone like that is on the field who can catch those balls and get to
Yeah.
them, so there's that. So you brought up Sonny Styles, Chris, on the back end of that defense. I found it very interesting that your starting safeties were Lathan Ransom, uh, Proctor, and Oh, it's his name's slipping my mind now. All of a sudden, he played last year and got burnt in the championship game and against Michigan. Um, I want to say McCord. It's not McCord. Anyways,
No, Cam Martinez was
Cam
the
Martinez. Thank you. There it
yeah
is. Cam Martinez. Thank you. Um, do you think, Chris, that was just based off of them being older,
seniority. I
seniority
do.
there?
I do because we started seeing it a little bit the last few years. Ryan Day is not afraid to go with a youth movement, and I think we saw that a little bit the last couple of years. I would not be surprised to see some of these guys who are getting those first team reps now and may even start the spring game not be the man when it comes time to start the first game of the season.
Yeah. What else have you heard, Chris, that's caught your attention?
Well, I'll tell you what. How about the battle at center there? I think we were a little bit surprised. I think obviously Jacobs is down. I kind of thought we might see the transfer in there getting more snaps, having a little more experience. But Carson Hinsman, he's continuing to shine out there. Um, the offensive line, from what I'm hearing, it's still obviously a work in progress. But these guys are getting valuable reps, and I hear Hinsman is looking very, very good, and might even make it tough for James to claim that spot back when he gets back.
Excuse me. Yeah. So you got Josh Fryer at left tackle. Sounds like he's pretty much wrapped that up.
Yeah,
You got Matthew Jones at left guard. He started there last year. He's not moving. So yeah, you've got Carson Hintzman who's moved to that center position, and
yeah,
I'm gonna say it, he's beat out Victor Cutler.
he has.
He's
He's
beat,
beat out Cutler,
now
and
can he beat out Jacob James when he comes back off
yeah,
of injury? And I believe it was Justin Fry said that Jacob James is like a bulldog over on the sideline. He's so hungry to get into the game. He's gonna make that competition really hard for Carson. Right guard, you got Donovan Jackson, returning starter, and then you got Zen Mikowski started over Tager Shabola.
but I'll tell you what, Shabola's getting pushing him.
He is
Shabola
pushing
got
him.
he's gotten some first team reps. Shabola has. I would not be surprised to see that end up a full blown competition as we wrap up spring as well.
Right. Kyle McCord is still slightly ahead of Devin Brown. It's close, but he's still ahead.
Yes,
He looks more comfortable in the offense, but that's not a surprise. He's
he's got
got
an extra
one
year.
full year over him,
Yeah,
right? He's more athletic than people realized. That
hmm
surprised the media on Saturday. He's a gamer. He's got a little bit more of a kind of a dog in him than what they thought. He's awful quiet the first 2 years on campus. Sounds like he's fist pumping and kind of getting the leadership of that offense as a
well,
quarterback.
and I've said, Eric, I want to see the swagger. I think he's getting the swagger. He's
I think
developing
he's
the
getting it.
swagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what will really get it. Walking into South Bend, Indiana and getting a dub.
Oh, that'd
That'll
be
give you some
huge.
swagger.
That'll give you some serious swagger.
Yeah, that'll give you some big time swagger. So you had those things. Here's one for you. So we know Tommy Two Thumbs also not participating in
Yep.
spring football, getting those two thumbs reattached to his hand, and he could play if he had to. If we had to play tomorrow, he could play. Why risk it? Let him heal up. He's
Right.
had plenty of reps. He's one of the best linebackers in the country. Let the kid rest and get ready. Steel Chambers has
Looking good.
stepped up. Now, it's interesting to say the second leading tackler on your team is stepping up, but it sounds like that's exactly what Steele has done. He looks comfortable in the defense. He's making all kinds of tackles. I think we were going to have a two-headed tackling monster at linebacker this year, and on top of that, the defensive line is legit.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, that defensive line is starting to look like it may be a lot deeper than we thought. Because
Mhm.
there are some guys in there who maybe, they came in highly touted, but we maybe underestimated them a little bit to this point, maybe thought they wouldn't quite be ready. Guys like Kenyatta Jackson had a big game Saturday.
Big game.
2 sacks, I believe. And
Mm-hmm.
I know they aren't real sacks during the scrimmage, but you know
They're
what?
two-hand touch, basically.
He was living in that backfield.
Yeah, they couldn't block
Uh,
him.
you know, you got Amari Abor. You've got obviously the 3 defensive tackles look like they're going to be a very good rotation.
Yep.
You've got Sawyer looking how we thought Sawyer was going to look now that he's back down as a defensive end. You've got JT Tuimaluau, who we all know what he's capable of. This defensive line is going to be a big problem for a lot of offensive linemen, and more importantly, for a lot of quarterbacks. And to touch on something you didn't necessarily mention with Steele too, Steele's a pretty doggone good cover linebacker.
He's quick.
He's quick, and he knows how a running back thinks and how they run their routes, having spent as much time as he did in a running back room. And I thought we saw that show out a little as he he was doing some coverage and he had the one play where he broke up the pass that was coming to Chip Triana.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good as a cover linebacker. I think that, and I think he's going to be great. I think, as you mentioned, Eichenberg's going to be great. Our defensive line is going to be great. I think we're starting to get a little bit of depth. I'm hearing that Powers and CJ Hicks are starting to come into their own a little bit as they're getting some reps. We got Cody Simon still down there. We got some guys who can play some serious ball on the defensive side, Eric. And if our defensive backs can get it together, and it sounds like they're playing a lot better. I even heard somebody refer to them as actually some of them were getting their heads turned around. Something that we talked about so much, is getting that head turned around. And they said there was actually guys looking back for the ball.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. That's a
Music to
good
my
thing to
ears.
hear. Yeah.
Larry Daniels says, greetings from Southwest Florida. The greater the depth, the stronger the competition, the better the possibilities of a championship quality team. Amen, brother. Absolutely.
Don't disagree.
There you go. All right, Chris, last thing I'm going to say. We've done all the positives.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a negative. We do not have good depth on the offensive line.
Yes.
There is a serious drop-off from the ones to the twos.
There is,
It
and we
is
talked about that before.
big time.
That was a
Big time
concern we
drop-off.
had before the season even started, Eric. Before the spring practice even started, we were concerned about this. And the other thing is, and we have to wonder, is our defensive line that good, or is our offensive line maybe not where they should be?
It's the biggest question mark in this team.
It really is, because that defensive line looks incredible, and I think that they probably are that good. But
Paul Buckeye. Yeah, Paul Buckeye. I love how when I bring him up, it says the Paul Buckeye from our logo behind it. The Paul Buckeye says,
Well,
I think we are going to be much improved team, especially on defense. Well said, Paul.
watch that Paul. They'll come and get you for that.
Yeah, be careful. We've gotten a cease and assist letter from the Ohio State University already on something. So that's neither here nor there.